All right, how's everybody doing? I love it that I've got like one person showing their face. Hey Dan, congratulations on being the only person for showing your face in the entire Zoom call.
Should get some kind of bonus for that, like no office bill or something.
I'm gonna figure something out. All right, well, so today we're gonna look over some July stats, see what's going on in the Tuscaloosa market, and have a couple of panels. But before that, I want to hear some wins because I know that we have some. So somebody tell me something good.
Byron passed his broker's test.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Good job, Byron. Everybody in the training room is giving Byron a hand. That's right. Debbie, thanks for giving Byron a hand. I appreciate that. So I really like that because now that means that if anybody has any broker issues, we can just send them to Byron. So, isn't that right, Byron?
Nope.
Hey, congrats, Byron. Byron, that's a big accomplishment, man. How old are you, Byron?
How old am I?
Yeah.
23.
You're 23, you got your broker's license. That's a big deal, man. That is awesome. Good, that's a great win. What else? Who else has got a win or something good that's happened? It's always the quietest part of the meeting.
I had my first closing yesterday.
Yeah, that's awesome, Abby. Congratulations. That's a big deal. Don't spend it all. Don't spend it all in one place. That's great. And I know also Tyler Lowe had his first closing last week as well. So it's really, really fun to see some newer agents have their first closings, especially, hey, Abby, how long have you had your license?
30 days as of last Friday.
30 days and you already had your first closing. That is awesome. I normally create the expectation as agents that it'll take 90 days and you did it in 30. So that's fabulous. All right, who else? Who else has got any other wins? All right, well, I know there's more wins out there, but we're gonna move on because I do want to look at some July stats, but also we have some new agents who joined us this month in August. What's up, Trisha? Hi. Hey, Trisha, you gotta tell us something good. We're needing more good stuff.
Something good?
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm just putting you on the spot.
I got something, Nathan.
Okay, go, Jessica.
Well, Allie Farinelli got her license, and not only does she have one house under contract, she also listed and sold her own house over the weekend. She had like 40 people come to her open house, and she staged it all by herself, and I'm sure y'all saw it. It looks perfect. And she held an open house, had 40 people or so come through, probably 10 showings, then like 40 people at the open house, and then she had 2 or 3 offers, and she handled all of that with a lot of grace. So
Wow, really 40 people at open. That is awesome. Great job, Allie.
Yeah, my husband wanted me to host the open house, and Jessica and I kept telling him, no one's going to come. And then I got smart, and I was like, it's 2 hours at my own house by myself in peace and quiet. Sure, I'll do it. And of course, 40 people came.
So they ruined your peace and quiet. And,
ruined my 2 hours of peace and quiet.
Where's your house at, Allie?
In Southridge.
Okay, cool. And are you buying another one?
We are.
Great. Well, congrats on that, Allie. And Allie, how long have you had your license?
About a month.
Wow. So have a lot of people coming in, getting started really fast. So Allie, that is awesome. Congratulations. We got some young people doing a lot of business.
I thought of something good.
All right.
If this hadn't been said, as of now, we're still having football season.
Yeah, we're still having football season.
We just ordered 4,000 football schedule magnets, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping that was a good decision.
Hey, I'm curious, who's gone out on a limb and bought the new football schedules?
Me.
Any brave souls? Well, that's all right. We'll be interested to see that. What are y'all gonna do with it if we don't have football season, Tricia?
We're gonna send them out anyway, and then we're gonna use it as another touch. We're gonna come up with something creative and funny.
Yeah. Hey, I think that's
We
a
just
good
don't know what that
something
is
good to
yet.
have in your back pocket.
But it also has the NFL Monday Night Football on the back.
So they can
So
still
if
use
they
it.
do something funny like put it
Okay.
over,
Okay. I love that. Awesome. All right. Well, I am so proud of Allie, Abby, Tyler Lowe. I mean, these agents who've had their licenses for a matter of months and are already having closings. That's just awesome. So great job, everybody. So we also, just to recognize, we have some new agents coming in August, and Carla is actually sitting in here, Carla Wade. So Tamara, Carla, Rayleigh, and Heather are all coming in this month. So we'll send out their contact information. I tell you, it's just a little more challenging right now with everybody being all over the place and for everybody to meet each other. So we're going to make sure and send out everybody's contact information for those of you who are not able to come to the office. Y'all can welcome. So welcome these guys. And then I wanted to look, before I talk about stats, who was at the Steve Chater, who chimed in and logged into Steve Chater Investor Workshop last week? Awesome. So I really want to hear a couple takeaways. So does anybody have any quick takeaways or things that they took away from that investor workshop that they could just share with us real quick? Any ahas?
I have one.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how we talked about the statistics for how many people would buy an investment property if they were prompted to do so and had a deal on the table. And so I loved his idea about finding out what the good deals are and calling your people in your database and saying, hey, I got a good deal. Would you be interested in it? Because I think he's right. I think there's a lot of people in our database who would be interested in buying an investment property if presented with the right information.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great takeaway. What else? Anybody else have any takeaways from that class? It was a lot of information. Did y'all get the spreadsheets I emailed out?
Yeah, those are good.
So I really liked his net worth tracker spreadsheet. That was really cool. Something that I've always heard Gary Keller talk a lot about, and a lot of these guys who've been really successful business owners and investors, is they really think net worth, not savings, and tracking net worth monthly and really strategically thinking around how to make that grow is a great way to approach finances. I really like that. Anybody else have any takeaways from that workshop? All right. Well, I emailed the reporting out, so if you did not watch it, I would really encourage you to go back and watch it because it was good. So let's talk July stats and see what's going on in the market. So, and by the way, can y'all see my screen? Those of you who are on Zoom, can y'all see the PowerPoint? Good. All right. So it's amazing that I remember sitting back in March whenever everything shut down, and a lot of the experts thought that June and July were going to be really bad months because they thought that the pipeline was going to dry up. And so it's amazing to see what's actually happened the past 2 months. So as a company, you've probably seen me post about it. We set all-time records in like every major category in July. In any categories that you can think of, we set an all-time record. So if you look at our market, and we look at month over month. So we look at this July, last July. Let me see here. Hope whoever sneezed covered their mouth. 1 second. Pull this back. All right, so if we look at closed units, you can see that last July, the Tuscaloosa MLS closed 690. This July, 890, so up 29%. So up 29% over last July. Our office, we absolutely blew last July out of the water, which was not a bad month. So last July we did 192. This July we did 279. So 45% increase over last July, so we're outperforming the market by 16%. And what's cool is that I believe that in Tuscaloosa, we had 34% market share in Tuscaloosa. So over a third of the market came through Keller Williams Tuscaloosa in the month of July. So this is obviously, this is what happened 90 days ago. So what we're seeing right here happened back in April and May, right? So now I like to look at the future business, which is listings taken. And I ran these numbers a couple times because I was like, I'm sure this cannot be right. But I double checked myself and this is right. So listings taken is way down. If you look at last July, the MLS took 423, this July 261. So that's down 38% month over month. And then if you look at us, we were still down. We went from 110 to 77. So we were down 30% in listings taken. And we're going to talk about listings in a little bit because listings do represent future income. Listings are important. And so when you see a 30% drop in listings month over month, it really shows you that that we really need to focus on listings moving forward. And then the next thing is contracts written, or we call these would be pendings. So you can see last July, 642 went under contract in the board, 762 this July, so that's up 19%. And which is a pretty big increase, and it just shows you that because of that, hopefully this August is still going to outperform last August. And then you guys did an awesome job. Last July we did 171 under contract, and this July 241. So 41% month over month. So we're outperforming the market. If I can do my math correctly, I think that's outperforming the market by 22%. So we're outperforming the market in every single category, and it just shows me that we have a lot of agents who really showed up and went to work in March and April. And there's been a reallocation of market share. I've seen it happen with agents. I've seen it happen with companies. And our market share from April through now has increased. And I think that whenever something like this happens, whether it's a recession, whether it's a pandemic, you're going to have two groups of people. You're going to have one group that just shuts down and just stops working. And then you're going to have another group that they just continue to find a way to work and do business. And you see that second group take territory. So, yeah, awesome job, guys. Really, really, really good stuff. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts on this before we move on? All right. Mitchell, why don't you come up here for a second? You can just grab a seat right there behind Tricia. All right, I'm going to stop share. All right, so far I've got Dan and Abby. Congratulations on showing your faces. The rest of you, I'm gonna tell Chad Himes. We had a productivity coaching meeting yesterday. Hey Jess, good to see your face. And our productivity coaching meeting yesterday was really good. And there's Kayla. There we go. Love it. And Brian was on there, and Brian just started sharing some some things that I did not know about what he'd been doing in his business. And And I thought, wow, I really want you to talk about that at team meeting. So, Brian, tell me, how many closings will you have this year, so far this year, through August?
I currently have 9, and I'm closing deal 10, 11 Thursday,
Okay. And you got your license when?
November,
Okay.
towards the end of November.
All right. Now, how many people do you have in your database?
I had one yesterday, I have 674 now.
674. Tell me about, how are you touching your database? What are you doing to engage your sphere of influence?
I make a habit of trying to call at least 17 people daily. That puts me calling everybody, touching everybody about every 2.5 months.
Okay.
Plus I do emails. I send emails out regularly. I send birthday cards, Christmas cards, anniversary cards. And I started Real Mailers, and I'm sending out basically situational awareness of what the real estate market is doing. Interest rates, how many houses we got on the market, things like that.
Okay, so you mentioned Real Mailers. So tell me what specifically, like, who are you sending those out to? What groups and what exactly are you sending with Real Mailers?
Well, I've been trying to narrow down everybody and get everybody in a neighborhood so I can send them basically a snapshot of their neighborhood. I'm still working on all that. I've got 153 or 54, 150 something neighborhoods now. And I started out sending them just neighborhood snapshots of what their homes are going for and, average price per square foot, and things like that to maybe try to drum up some listings.
Okay. Man, that is awesome. And one thing I thought was interesting, tell us about how you have your business set up with your bank accounts and how you operate your business.
Well, from day one, I started 3 accounts. I started a operations account, which is basically just my business checking. I have a business savings account, and I have a business tax account. And anytime I get a commission check, I split my commission check 4 ways. 25% for business checking, 25% for my savings, and 25% for my tax account, and then the other 25% is my pay. So, old man told me years ago, never play out a cash register when you're business owner.
Yeah.
So that's kind of way I live running my business.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So, I mean, selling 10 houses your first 8 months of real estate is nothing to sneeze about. So, what would you attribute? What do you think are some of the things that you've done that has helped you get this kind of momentum starting off?
Honestly, of course I can always say support. We've got to get support, but honestly, just showing up. I wear my name badge every day. It don't matter. I wear it even on the weekends when we go out to eat anything. I wear my name tag. And showing up to the office and being around everybody and having the same, everybody with the same mindset really helps.
Yeah. Man, well, thanks for sharing that, Brian. Brian was talking, he just started sharing this stuff yesterday at Productivity Coaching. And I just want to tell you, man, I'm proud of you. It's so fun to hear somebody who's been in the business for 9 or 10 months tell me that I've got a database of 670 people that I'm touching regularly. He's got business, accounts set up. He's showing up to work every day, every day. And man, that's awesome. And I think there's definitely a direct correlation to the success you're having with the activities that you're doing, man. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. That's awesome. All right. So real quick, before Trish and I are going to talk a little bit about listings, because as you can see from the numbers, listings are the opportunity right now. And we've got to continue to figure out ways to go find listings. But before that, Dan, can you talk a second about the Social Equality Task Force? Can you talk about that for a second?
Absolutely. I guess 2-3 months ago, Social Equity Task Force I'm part of the regional, Southeast Regional, and then there's 3 people out of each region that serve on the International Social Equity Task Force. And so out of our region, we have 3 people, and in our region, I think there's 43 people and you know, as just gathered a lot of information, and they're kind of passing it down to us so that we can kind of do some local level things. And so myself and Janice Terry are going to be co-chairing this. We're looking for people that have a heart and a passion for kind of what's going on in our nation, but realizing that, you know, this is all happening on our watch, and our office is where we can start to have the greatest immediate impact. We can't necessarily solve the world's problems from right here, but we can start to address them here in our office and hopefully have an influence on our community as well. And so we're looking for great minds that really have a passion for what's going on. I mean, we, you know, it seems like about every 30 days somebody gets shot, and so there's a real issue, and you know, the path forward is something that we can't ignore. We don't have the opportunity to do nothing. And so it's happening on our watch. As I heard a lady several years ago, it's too dark to sleep. It's too much going on in our world that's not right. And this is primarily in the racial arena. And so just being straightforward and honest, we're not looking for people who want to have a debate. We want people that are looking to find answers for the future, and really want to give people the freedom to speak, to learn. And those are the main things we need to do right now, is just learn and be educated, be able to see through other people's eyes, and how we can make our market center an example for market centers across our community, state, and nation. And so it's exciting. You know, it's as you look at it, you might say, well, I've got so much going on. My belief is when you get to the end of the road, when you're laying on your deathbed, you're not going to say, I wish I'd have sold more houses than this or that, but you'll wish you had made a lasting impact. And this is a way to make a lasting impact. And so if you want to be on the local task force in our office, you can email me, Janice, Nathan, and or Tricia, and we will pull it all together and start having some meetings. If you just want to fill it out, our first meeting will just be that, where you can kind of fill out and ask a lot of questions. We don't have a lot of answers right now, but we do have some direction. And so with that, I don't know if you want anybody to ask any questions or not. So anything I left out, Nathan, there, you feel free to jump in there. Janice couldn't be with us. She had an appointment. And so you can talk with her as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Dan. Yeah, this is something that obviously you guys saw whenever George Floyd was killed several months ago. Gary Taylor immediately initiated a national task force, social equality task force, and so this is something that's really going on at a national level in our company, and they've actually already come out with a really cool strategic plan nationally on some initiatives that they want to do in the area of social equality. And so, you know, obviously, we want those to trickle down to the region levels and even to our office to see how we can help with those. And also maybe we come up with some unique things locally, you know, in our office, in our market. So if y'all have any questions on that, you can touch base with Dan and Janice. And if you're interested in being a part of that task force, just let them know, and then they'll come up with a time to meet. So thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. All right. So Tricia, I want to talk a little bit about, let's talk a little bit about listings, and then put you on the spot. talk a little bit about Mega Camp because I know it's going to be different this year, but I'm going to pick your brain on just your first experience at Mega Camp and how powerful that was. So, but let's talk about listings. So we all see that there's a need based on these numbers, that there's a need for more listings. Listings represent future income. So what are some things that you and your team are doing right now to go out and find listing leads?
Yeah, so some of the things that we do, one thing that I've been doing for a really long time, it has just always worked for me, and you've probably heard me say this, but I send out unsold postcards to every neighborhood that I sell a house in. So if I sell a house in Woodland Hills, the whole neighborhood gets a sold postcard. But one thing that's important with this that you have to remember if you do this is to make sure you send those postcards to the mailing address, not the property address. In CRS, there's two addresses, there's the mailing and there's the property address. And about 5 years ago, I have a great example of why this is important, but about 5 years ago, I did a mailer. I sold a house in Highland Park and I did a sold mailer to the whole neighborhood. Well, I've always been doing it to the mailing address, not the property address. Well, I got a call from a man out in California and he was like, hey, I got your postcard. I have a rental house in Highland Park that I need you to sell. And I also have 11 other rental properties in Tuscaloosa that I want to liquidate. And so over the next 2 years, I sold all 11 of his rental properties. Now, had I sent that sold postcard to the mailing address, to the property address, it would have gone to the tenant, right? And that guy in California would have never gotten my postcard and would have probably never called me. So it's really important that when you do a mailer, you're sending it to the owner's mailing address, wherever that is. So that's one thing we do. And I would say I get probably one listing appointment from every mailer that I do on average. Another thing we've been doing more recently than we have in the past is when we have a buyer for a neighborhood and there's no listings in that neighborhood, we build out phone numbers for all the property owners in that neighborhood. We use white pages. For us, we pay $90 a month for 2,000 numbers. They have other plans that are less expensive if you don't need 2,000, but that's what we do. And then after we build out the neighborhood with the phone numbers, we put those phone numbers into SlideOwl, which we pay $25 a month for 300 successful dials. And we slide out the neighborhood. And if you don't know what SlideOwl is, basically what we do is we record a message that says, hey, this is Trisha Gray with Keller Williams. I have a buyer looking in your neighborhood. If you've ever thought about selling, please call. We have somebody ready, willing, and able to purchase a home in your neighborhood. You know, just real short and sweet, and leave your number. And that same recording goes to everybody in the neighborhood that you send it to. And so we've had a lot of success with that recently because the inventory's been so low. So we pay $115 total a month for white pages and SlideOwl. But you could get it for cheaper because we do the most expensive plans because we do so many and we need it maxed out, but there are different plans available if that's something you wanted to do. We're also we're experimenting with Mojo right now. Some of y'all might already use Mojo. But basically, Mojo would take the place of white pages and they build out the neighborhood phone numbers for you. And then you can either call individually or you can take that list and put it into SlideOwl and still do your SlideOwl. So we've had a lot of great success with that, especially with the condos. And then another thing we've been doing recently is just having real serious, real life conversations with our database about the election coming up. And historically, interest rates have always gone up after an election. And so if there's anyone on the fence about selling, now's the time to sell the house so you're not sitting on it after the election, because who knows what will happen after the election. But historically, interest rates have gone up. So that's a real conversation you need to be having with people and also your buyers. If you have a buyer on the fence, that's a great conversation to have to help them pull the trigger because they might regret it if they don't. So that, and then also we do command ads for listings. You can do them really, really cheap, as cheap as 50 cents per lead for listings, and that's through command. And then also, lastly, one thing we've had a lot of success with is farming neighborhoods where we do an 8x8 campaign. And basically, some touches that are included in and the 8x8 means 8 touches in 8 weeks. So we do 1 touch a week. So it's good to pick a neighborhood you've sold a house in before. So maybe if you've already sent a sold postcard to a neighborhood, they've already seen your name or they've seen your sign. So that would be good to start with a neighborhood you've sold in before. But first we send an introduction letter introducing ourselves. Then we usually send some type of neighborhood statistics. Then we'll send an item of value. We have lots of different items of value. We're getting ready to, like I mentioned, we ordered our football schedule magnets, so that'll be an item of value. We'll slide down the neighborhood. We'll do open houses, and if we have a listing in the neighborhood and invite neighbors to the open house, we'll send market updates. And you can't really door knock in this market, but we've had agents on our team who had success door knocking. But then you can also, if you really want to put it over the top for the 8th touch, you could do a neighborhood. You could sponsor a neighborhood function where you get the ice cream truck to come to the neighborhood. You send out letters to everyone letting them know you're sponsoring this function. Again, you can't really do that now, but in a non-COVID market, that's something that we would do. And the last thing that I want to say about getting listings now, when you're doing all this, make sure you're ready. So if somebody does call you, you know what the next step is. Make sure you're knowledgeable about the neighborhood you're farming. Make sure you have your listing presentation ready. So if they do call you wanting to go on a listing presentation, you have it ready, that you're not scrambling last minute. But in this market, knowledge is key. The more you can educate yourself about what's going on in the market and specifically certain neighborhoods, you're going to come across as the professional in that area.
Cool. Those are really, really good strategies. Some great ideas. Does anybody have any questions for Tricia on those? That's all really, really good content. That must have been really good. Everybody's taking notes.
Nailed it.
You know what the price difference is between the white pages and Mojo?
Yes, so the white pages, we pay $90 a month for 2,000 phone numbers. Mojo is, and I don't know if there's a limit on that. We just started that. So Mojo is a little more expensive, but then you don't have to spend all the time building out the neighborhoods if they do it for you. And then also Mojo will take off the do not call list people, whereas white page does not do that. So it's probably a little more efficient, but a little more expensive on the front end.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, one of the things that I've always appreciated about is Tricia, when they talk about sending mailers to people who don't live in that address. I know a lot of you already do that, but that's really something to focus on. I mean, you can utilize tax records for that, but yeah, I mean, targeting those out-of-state owners, I mean, it could be a great way to find some listings right now. Especially in neighborhoods and areas that have appreciated. You know, if somebody out of state finds out that their home is worth $50,000 more than what they paid for it 5 years ago, I mean, they may be willing to sell it. So I think, I mean, it's right now, like, there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of equity in their homes, and they may not realize how much their home is worth in today's market, with just how much prices have been driven up. So any way that we can educate people on the values of their home, get in front of them, do market analysis. Somebody who says they don't want to sell, they may actually want to sell if they realized how much they could make on their home. So I think we've got to proactively find ways to get out in front and educate these people on what their home is worth, and it could turn into a listing. So does anybody else have any questions for Tricia?
Yeah, Tricia, when you are mailing out those, are y'all doing that through command, or are you handwriting the mailing address instead of the property address, or what is the fastest way to do that?
We, I don't know because Elizabeth does that. I think we do it through, what do we do? We do the tax records. We do the tax records. Tax records. We export the addresses onto labels for the from the tax records. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah, it's tax records is really, it's actually a lot easier to use now with this new system than I think anyway it is than it was a few years ago, but I mean, it's pretty easy to go into tax records, pull a subdivision, and you can directly export a mailing label. Pretty easy. You don't have to convert to Word and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can convert a mailing label pretty easy for a subdivision. And then like you can filter it, and you can, make sure that it goes to the actual like mailing address and not the property address. That way it goes to wherever the owner is and not just the property, like what Trish was talking about. But tax records makes it really easy. And then just with mailers in Command, it's a really good tool to use. Right now, though, through Command, it's only set to where it goes to the physical address. So it's still a great tool, and yet if you want to target out-of-state owners, tax records is the best way to do that. So good question, Kayla. Does anybody else have any questions? All right, something real quick I wanted to show y'all. I didn't think about this until Tricia mentioned it having a, be prepared, have a listing presentation ready, be prepared and go meet with these people when they call you. And there's a resource that some of you know about. We've been working on it. I've had some of our interns work on it for the last couple of months. And I want you guys to know about it. It's something that's still a work in progress, but I'm going to do a quick screen share with you guys. This is a really good resource for agents, admin. Let me see if I can find. Let me see. I think this is it. Can y'all see my screen right now? Somebody give me. All right. So what we've done is we built this Market Center YouTube channel, and it kind of just came organically from when we started recording all of our training back in April. Like literally every Zoom training we did was automatically recorded. And so we had interns download all of those videos, edit them to where it cuts off all the fluff, and then basically put those into a YouTube channel. So all of our training classes are in a Market Center YouTube channel. I've shared the link with some of you guys. We're still working on the best way to do it. We want it to be private just for our agents, but we will get this link out to you guys. So just to show y'all what it looks like, you've got all these different videos in here, all the different classes, and then we've broken it down into playlists. So we've got all of our productivity coaching sessions. We've got other training videos, all of our Command workshops, our DocuSign sessions. We've even got a launch series specifically for new agents who are getting started. But in this, there's a couple really good videos. Like Tricia did a really good class on how she does her listing presentation, and that's actually a video in this YouTube channel. So there's contracts classes, there's classes on smart plans. So if you're an agent looking to learn, or you want to find some leverage to help teach your admin, this Market Center YouTube channel is a really good way to just on demand, find some different topics that you're looking for. So we'll send this link out to all of you. Be patient with it because we're playing around with privacy settings and trying a couple things, because we really only wanted to be available to like agents in our office. We don't want people out in the public necessarily watching all of this, because it is a lot of internal training. So when we do send it out, make sure that you keep it to yourself and really just use it for internal use. So all right, so Tricia, let's talk real quick. I know we've got Mega Camp coming up in a couple weeks. It's going to be different this year. I was on a national call yesterday and really impressed. I mean, they have put a lot of effort into building this really unique platform. That's it's not just going to be a big Zoom. I mean, it can be very interactive. It's going to be very strategic. A lot of different breakout sessions. I think it's going to be really cool. So, Tricia, for you, talk about Mega Camp. I guess it's been 5 years ago now. Yeah. Just talk about kind of what happened with you when you went to Mega Camp five years ago and you worked with Keller Williams.
Yeah, so 5 years ago, I was at another brokerage in town, and we did not have a team. There was no such thing as the Gray Group. I was a single agent. Jason was a single agent. We had a part-time assistant, and we were literally killing ourselves trying to sell as many houses as we could. We had no leverage. But so Keller Williams had called us, and they were wanting us to help start the KW Tuscaloosa. And so they sent us to Mega Camp in Austin. And it was really the first time that I saw the big vision of Keller Williams. But what I saw personally for myself is a vision of being able to start a team and have the business that I've wanted to have, because I've always been really competitive. I've always wanted to be a top producer, but also wanted to have a life. And at the time, I was sort of on my way to being a top producer, but I didn't have any kind of life. And I was spending every night, weekend working, and I had a daughter at the time. And so I saw this vision that I could have both. And that's really what changed my world and really got me interested in Keller Williams and got me learning more about how to start a team, how to have a team, how to build that leverage. And that was just the beginning step for me, where I saw the big picture, and it changed everything for us. So you're on the fence about going to Mega Camp, I highly recommend it. Your mind will be blown, and you will learn so much about whether you're a single agent, you have a team, you're starting a team, you have a big team, whatever stage you're in. It will help you. It will help motivate you. It will help you see the big vision of what your business could be. And then you can decide how big you want that to be. And it gives you the steps on how to do it. They interview top, teams and mega agents across the world or across the nation who have done that. And it's phenomenal. I highly recommend it. It changed my world.
So, it's interesting, Mega Camp. I mean, obviously I'm disappointed. Like, I love going to Austin, Texas every year for Mega Camp. It's so much fun. It's fun to see everybody. It's fun to be around thousands of people. Yet one of the benefits that we have right now is that, usually to go to Mega Camp, you've got to buy a plane ticket, probably spend, between $500 and $1,000 on a plane ticket there and back. Hotel rooms down there normally about $300 plus a night. So you're going to spend over $1,000 in hotel rooms, and then the event ticket is usually $800. So you're looking at spending easily $3,000 to $5,000 on Mega Camp if you want to go to Mega Camp. Well, now you have everything. I mean, I've seen it. They're going to have all the breakout sessions. They're going to have a virtual vendor hall. You're going to have like your own profile so that you can interact and network with people. So it's basically, the digital experience of all of the same content for $120. So, it's disappointing that it's not in person, but I really feel like it's a great opportunity for maybe a lot of newer agents who would not go to Austin, but now can plug in. So we're working on, we're going to have some food trucks up at the office just to have something fun up here. Obviously, we still can't have a ton of people in the training room, but we're going to look at streaming it from our training room. Obviously, if you want to come to the training room to watch it, you have to have registered. They don't want us to do one registration and then let 30 people watch it off that one registration. Everybody would need to register. But I really encourage you guys to plug into it. I just think there's going to be a lot of great content for agent on all different levels. So awesome. Well, that is all I've got. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Well, thank you all for plugging in today. We actually had a pretty good turnout. I know there's a lot of CE classes going on. So Dan, I was going to ask Dan to close us in prayer, but he's not on here. So I'm gonna close this in prayer, and then we'll get out of here. So, all right, Lord, we thank you so much for all you bless us with, and we just thank you for this company. We thank you for all of the agents and families and clients represented here, and just pray that you would just continue to bless our businesses, that you would just protect those who are hurting, just protect, Lord, just continue to protect us from this virus. And we just ask all this in your name. Amen. All right. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk soon.